Hello and welcome to Theology on Tap. Hope you're having a great day. Now I want to continue my discussion, my talk about the river of God. In my last video I said that the holy place, all right, is not a place, literal place that you actually could go and see God. It's not Jerusalem. It's not some kind of a church and whatnot. In fact, when Jesus was alive, when he spoke and looked at the temple of God, and he looked at it, it was supposed to be really beautiful. He said that the stones that built this temple is going to fall down, and that the temple was destroyed, I believe, in the 70 AD, right? But even if it didn't happen in 70 AD, it will fall sooner or later, right? Either that or some cathedrals or some churches have become nightclubs, or some other religious group have bought the building. So it's not a place that matters, but it's not a holy place where you find the living water. It is a holy ones of God. They're supposed to be the blessings of God. So like I said in my last video, we are, all right, those of us who believe, those of us who are dedicated to God, those of us who following the steps of the Spirit of God, we are the river of God that flows, that brings healing and quenches and brings life. Right? That's what we're supposed to be. So you could say that Christianity is supposed to be the source of life unto this world. Wherever we go, we're supposed to be the source of life, bring healing and joy and bring peace and things like that into the world. But as Christianity, are we really doing that or not? Some say yes, some say no. I think we could definitely do a better job. Not because a church is getting bigger, so a lot more churches are being built. Although I don't think that many churches are being built. In fact, I think Christianity have become somewhat stagnant these days. We're not growing as fast as we could be. And I know that the millennials are not going to church at all. I don't think they're really into religion and things like that anyways. However, I think the reason why us, the holy ones of God, where the river is supposed to flow, we're not being too much of a blessing, although we are being blessings to the world, and there's like great Christians doing wonderful things in this world. But I think many of us, in a way, we're not really allowing the Spirit to flow through our lives, right? And so we could find some instances in the Bible that talks about why. First of all, if we were to reference the water or river once again, there is a pool of Siloam that is mentioned in the Bible. Now, I'm not going to go into the history of it and stuff because I'm not that smart, and I don't want to go into too much of where it is and all that. But this pool of Siloam is a stagnant pool. It doesn't really flow. And I think that's what happens a lot of times when we get so busy in the world. We get focused upon the daily life situations and struggles we have to go through, the tribulations that we have to go through. Even fun, right? We have so much fun things to do these days that our spiritual life, our connection with God, our walking in the step of the Spirit of God, it just becomes stagnant. It doesn't really go anywhere. And I think that's what happens when we focus so much on theology. We focus so much on who is right and who is wrong. We focus so much on when is Jesus coming back? Is this the end of the world? And all that kind of stuff, which a lot of people are really interested in, fighting against other religions and whatnot. Instead of that, we should be just being able to spread the gospel, being good, and bring healing and peace into this world. I think that would be so much better. Instead of being anti anything, we should be pro-life, pro-Christ, pro-marriage, family. Just live that life so that we could be a good example to the world. And a lot of times we just become stagnant, and the troubles of the world get to us, or concerns of the world get to us, and we become like this pool of Siloam where it just becomes stagnant. It can't be a true blessing to a lot of people. All right, another part that is mentioned is the pool of Bethesda, and we hear about this place I think in Book of Luke. I could be wrong, but I think it's in Book of Luke. This is a place where also it is a pool, it's a stagnant place, but once in a while, an angel of the Lord comes and stirs the place up a bit, and that's when the healing takes place. And you know the story. You could look it up in Luke. Hopefully it's in Luke. However, I think also that's what it becomes. It's not that we become stagnant and whatnot. We constantly need the stirring in our lives. And and growing up in a church, that happened quite a bit, at least for me and my friends, a lot of people actually. You know, we go to church every week and it's a constantly same thing over and over again. And then once in a while, when we feel that our spiritual life is not going anywhere, we will go on retreats where, you know, great preachers come and we focus on God and God alone, away from the world. And then, you know, we pray and something magical happens and there's a stirring in our hearts, and then we make a bunch of promises to God, and we promise that we're going to do our best. And then there's some kind of a healing that takes place. A lot of people cry and all that kind of stuff. Good experience. But, you know, we become reliant on that. You know, we want to experience that again, which, you know, only happens at places like that, right? At retreat centers and whatnot, at organized program kind of a place. Everyday life is not that. Everyday life is kind of difficult. We can't be away from it. So, you know, we become stagnant once again. And then we have to go on retreats and get stirred up once again. It happens to a lot of people. You know, even this is one of the reasons why I don't like people saying you need to spend quality time with your spouse. Of course, we have to spend quality time with our spouse, but problem with spending quality time with our spouse at times is that when we put in the effort to have quality time, then we kind of get lazy at any other time. We could focus more on the other things rather than keeping our relationship going. And that's why getting your heart and your spirit stirred once in a while can be detrimental. I think it is detrimental, because the rest of the times you're not a flowing water. Your spirit is just stagnant, and I don't think that's good either. Our third kind that is mentioned here is a place called Kidron or Sidron or Hedron, depending on how you spell it. I found at least 3 different spelling for this place. And this is supposed to be a brook, or, you know, some say that back in the days, Solomon days, that there was plenty of water flowing underneath the city, you know, through the city, and it was there. And it's supposed to provide water for the city. I don't know if it was enough or not, but enough, I guess. And also, you know, especially when it rains and whatnot, it would overflow with water. And if it did flow very well. However, the problem is, and this is what I read about this place called Hedron, is that they have built a garbage dump nearby this river, and so that the river actually gets contaminated. It becomes dirty. And I think sometimes that happens too. You know, sometimes we want the Spirit to flow, but we can't really be a blessing to other people, once again, because we get contaminated by the concerns of this world, or I don't know, anything could happen in life, right? One day you're feeling great, next day you're not, and you could get depressed for quite a bit of time. You know, that happens. So it flows, but it is tainted by garbage. So instead of using the river of life, where it's supposed to be a blessing, a cleansing thing for others, it actually gets contaminated by the garbage. Just that idea of it is that instead of influencing the world with the positive message of Jesus Christ, we get contaminated, or we get influenced by the world's concerns and whatnot. That could really destroy the freshness of the Spirit of God that flows through us, right? And then also there's another kind, a pool of Solomon, and this was about 13 miles away from Jerusalem, and they would bring this water into the city, and so that there's plenty of water in the city. And sometimes, once again, call it the pipeline, right? Using the pipeline to bring in the water into the city. And sometimes it's kind of like you are blessed because other people are blessed. And I think that's cool. I think that's the way it should be, where if we're so blessed and we share the goodness of God, we have a chance to bless other people. And I think that's wonderful too. But the ones that get blessed by other people and we benefit from other blessings, it's not as effective, it's not as good, it's not as powerful as it should be. We need to have a kind of a life that we need to live, the life that is a blessing, not just unto us, that we could be a blessing to others, so that others could also not rely upon my blessings or my spirit, but they will connect with God in their own spirit, and so that they could walk in that path of righteousness. So, these are the 4 things that I found in the Bible about water that can be a negative thing, but we're supposed to be the living water that flows, right? And I hope and pray that the things of this world doesn't contaminate our water. It doesn't become stagnant, or it doesn't become stagnant and rely upon the stirring of it once in a while, or just be happy just receiving some kind of a blessing from other people's blessings and be done with that. I hope that's not true either. So I guess what I'm saying is that, living in that path of righteousness and following Jesus Christ, sometimes it is unknown. I don't know where God's going to take us at times, but that's exciting, and if God wants us to move us in a way to being a blessed to other people, I think we should be a blessing to other people. So I guess what I'm saying is go with the Spirit of God. Let the blessings of God in you flow through you. Let it be a blessing to other people. And wherever you go, I hope and pray that you'll bring new life into other people. I think that's great. I think that's the way that the message of the gospel should be spread out into the rest of the world, which I'm sure it will happen, and that every knee in the world will bow and confess Christ as Lord. I'm a true believer of that. I think it's going to happen, and it's going to happen because we are the holy ones of God, and through us, the blessing, the living water flows from us. God bless. And then I got a couple more videos, maybe 2 more videos on the living water. So God bless you, and I'll see you next time. Oh, and if you like this video, please like it, press like, and share it with other people. And if I made some mistakes as far as the pronunciation of the place or the historical thing that maybe I misread, please let me know as well. But hey, share the good news. God bless. See you next time.